Tonight, the deeply moving images, more than 90,000 mourners from around the world lining up, paying their respects to Pope Francis. We'll take you inside St. Peter's Basilica tonight. Also breaking news of an arrest coming in, the massive fire in the Northeast, causing air quality concerns in New Jersey and New York City. First tonight, tens of thousands of mourners descending on the Vatican, waiting around the clock to offer a prayer, in many cases an emotional farewell to Pope Francis. Our Terry Moran takes us inside the Basilica tonight, and we hear from New York Cardinal Timothy Dolan on the secret conclave to elect a new pope. Also on this Thursday night, the arrest of the suspect accused of starting one of the largest wildfires in New Jersey in 20 years. Concerns about air quality in New York City. Tonight, Russia's deadliest attack on Ukraine in nearly a year. President Trump sending a direct message to Vladimir Putin, telling him, quote, Vladimir, stop. It all comes after the U.S. proposed to Ukraine that they give up the land taken by Russia since the invasion. Now President Trump is being asked, what is Russia giving up? Tonight, the U.S. and China sending conflicting messages over President Trump's tariffs, upending the global markets and the U.S. economy. After President Trump insisted the two sides were actively discussing tariffs, China calling it fake news. A Chinese official saying there have been no talks. Here in the U.S. tonight, the toxic scare killing dozens of dolphins, sea lions, and now the whales being affected too, right along the U.S. coast. Police say chilling video shows a teenage girl being followed by a stranger, and authorities say her quick thinking, what she said to strangers, that helped save her. And tonight, night one of the NFL draft live right here on ABC. The next generation of stars ready to take the spotlight. Who will be the #1 pick?
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Thursday night. And we begin tonight with the deeply moving images from the Vatican. More than 90,000 mourners from around the world paying their respects to Pope Francis. And tonight, our Terry Moran will take us inside St. Peter's Basilica so you can see it for yourself. So many people wanting to see Pope Francis, the Vatican keeping the doors open overnight until 5:30 in the morning. And even then, thousands were still waiting, the line stretching up to a mile at times. Terry inside the Basilica today with people from all over the globe and from all walks of life, and what he heard from Americans who were in that line and how it moved them. Security is tight in St. Peter's Square, where the funeral mass will be observed early Saturday morning. We'll carry it live right here on ABC, starting Saturday morning at 3:30 a.m. Some 50 heads of state, including President Trump, President Zelensky, and Britain's Prince William. Tonight, the first image of what Pope Francis's tomb at St. Mary Major Basilica will look like, bearing the simple inscription, Franciscus. That was his request. Again, the funeral Saturday morning, 4 a.m. here in the East, will be on the air starting at 3:30 in the morning. But first tonight, a moving look inside St. Peter's Basilica and what our own Terry Moran witnessed himself in that line today.
Tonight, more than 90,000 people have streamed up Rome's streets and avenues to the Vatican, waiting for hours for those few unforgettable moments to say farewell to Pope Francis. And I joined them through the great doors into St. Peter's Basilica, up the center aisle, under the soaring dome, everything hushed and respectful. And there he was, Francis, in that simple wooden coffin, the people's pope to the end. It's just after nightfall, and still they're coming, and the feeling here is extraordinary, as it is inside. There are people who are in tears, people very prayerful, but more than anything, there's a sense of history and of gratitude.
As if it wasn't for Pope Francis.
Tonight, Rosie Lamanna from Long Island, overwhelmed by the moment.
We came from New York, thinking we're going on a tour, never thinking we're going to see the Pope in his passing, and feel the faith in the church, feel the faith. It's just in you. It's in your heart.
Rosie, it feels like you're really touched.
I'm touched. I was really touched. It took your breath away. Just to be there, just to see it.
Shelley Ferry, traveling with her family from Virginia.
It's just a very surreal experience to bring my children to this. I just think it's incredible to be here and to experience it with them.
Security is tight. Armed soldiers keeping watch with anti-drone weapons, police canines on patrol. World leaders will be making their way here, including President Trump, President Zelensky, and Prince William, among 50 heads of state, along with a bevy of international royals. New York's Cardinal Timothy Dolan joining more than 100 cardinals meeting here today, more on their way, already discussing the future of the church and the conclave to choose the next pope.
That's the time that we get to know one another. We listen to one another. Each of the cardinals will have a chance to speak. They speak about the beauty and the challenges of the church in their diocese.
And tonight, the Vatican releasing a first look at the plan for the marble tomb where Francis will be laid to rest in the St. Mary Major Basilica in Rome. On the stone, one word, Franciscus, his name in Latin. In the streets around St. Peter's, memories of Francis abound. Hello. For decades, the Mancinelli family tailors have dressed bishops, cardinals, and popes.
This is for the next pope.
Raniero Mancinelli remembers fondly Francis teasing him about the high prices here and says that Francis changed church fashion. Suddenly, a simpler way was in vogue.
Si è molto semplificato.
With Pope Francis, he says, not only his style was personal, but the whole business changed because people didn't come anymore to get a lot of, other things to put on.
Wait, this is amazing. So Francis, because he was simple, he was kind of a style icon for the other bishops and cardinals. Everybody got more simple.
Yes, he tells me. But the fashions and the church may be changing again soon. One cardinal we met today told us that the first order of business will be to get to know each other. This is the most global conclave ever, and so it looks like we aren't going to see that white smoke, that signal that a new pope has been chosen anytime soon. No date set yet, but it looks like the earliest the conclave could begin is the week of May 5th. David?
All right, Terry Moran. Terry, that was an extraordinary view inside St. Peter's Basilica tonight. Our thanks to you. And I'll be traveling to the Vatican, joining Terry, James Longman, Deborah Roberts, and our entire team for the closing of the Pope's coffin tomorrow night. And then the funeral early Saturday morning. ABC News live coverage of the funeral begins at 3:30 a.m. Saturday morning. Of course, we hope you'll get up with us, and we'll be there for the ancient ritual, the conclave, several days later as well. And I'll see you for the news tomorrow night from the Vatican right here. In the meantime, we move on to the other news this Thursday night. An arrest in the New Jersey wildfire, one of the largest fires in New Jersey in 20 years, triggering air quality alerts all the way to New York City. These are new images tonight of the flames late today. More than 23 square miles burned so far. ABC's Morgan Norwood is on the scene for us.
Tonight, authorities in southern New Jersey say the Jones Road fire that's burned more than 23 square miles of pine forest was intentionally started by a teenager. 19-year-old Joseph Kling appearing via Zoom from the Ocean County Jail today.
Sir, did you have the opportunity to watch the advisement of rights video, Mr. Kling?
Yes, Your Honor.
He's facing multiple charges, including aggravated arson. Fire investigators say Kling made a bonfire out of wooden pallets and left the scene while the fire was still burning. More than 3,000 people had to evacuate. The fire destroying this commercial building, James Herbst's family's business.
It's completely gone. There's about $5 million in product inside. Lost everything.
We're just yards away from where that warehouse burned and the ground's still smoldering. You can see the flames. It's hotspots like this that have firefighters working around the clock.
And the towering clouds of smoke triggering air quality alerts in New York City for sensitive groups. People with breathing problems urged to take precautions.
And David, the one thing this area really needs right now is rain, but look, with none in the forecast until at least Saturday. The big fear tonight is that thousands more acres could burn in the meantime. David?
All right, Morgan Norwood on the scene for us. Morgan, thank you. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg from our New York station, WABC. And of course, Lee, the question, when will the smoke clear out, the air quality improve, and some rain on the way will help?
David, hazy here in New York. Air quality alerts in effect here in the Hudson Valley and Long Island. That'll go through midnight. Then the smoke will thin out later tonight. Timing that smoke, it's most widespread during the evening hours, clears out tomorrow, and then late day could be a resurgence in eastern New Jersey and New York City before the rain comes in. That rain is with a storm over the southern plains. Fourth day of severe weather, another tornado watch over the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles, more severe weather in East Texas. This rain moves into the Midwest and Ohio Valley on Friday, and ultimately it's a soaking rain here in the Northeast on Saturday. Welcome news for the firefight and the dryness. David?
All right, Lee Goldberg with us again tonight. Lee, thank you as always. In other news tonight, Russia's deadliest attack on Ukraine in nearly a year. President Trump sending a direct message to Vladimir Putin, telling him, quote, Vladimir, stop. But it all comes after the U.S. proposed to Ukraine to give up the land taken by Russia since the invasion. And tonight, President Trump is now being asked, what is Russia giving up? Here's Martha Raddatz.
Tonight, Ukrainians reeling after the largest Russian attack on the country in nearly a year. Missiles and drones striking the capital, Kyiv, leaving at least a dozen dead and more than 100 wounded. an attack that prompted President Trump, whose administration is trying to broker a peace agreement, to directly call out Russia's President Vladimir Putin. Writing on social media, Vladimir, stop. And then from the Oval Office,
I didn't like last night. I wasn't happy with it. And we're in the midst of talking peace, and missiles were fired.
the strike's coming just hours after Trump lashed out at Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky for rejecting the U.S. peace proposal that would prohibit NATO membership for Ukraine and would force Ukraine to give up land that Russia has seized since its invasion, in addition to giving up Crimea. Zelensky saying, "We will negotiate, we will not surrender." Today, in a meeting with NATO ally Norway, Trump was asked what concessions he is asking of Russia, the country that invaded Ukraine.
Stopping the war, stopping taking the whole country. Pretty big concession.
Certainly not a big concession in the eyes of President Zelensky, who would have to allow Russia to keep land it seized illegally. Zelensky saying there must be real pressure on Russia to stop this. Russia continues killing civilians. That means Putin is not afraid. President Trump was asked today if there was a deadline to reach a deal after his vice president said the U.S. would walk away if there was not a deal soon. Trump said he has his own deadline, and after that, he said we're going to have a much different attitude. David?
All right, Martha Raddatz in Washington for us tonight. Martha, thank you. We turn now to President Trump's tariffs, and tonight the U.S. and China sending conflicting messages over President Trump's tariffs, upending global markets and the U.S. economy. After President Trump insisted the two sides were actively discussing tariffs, China calling it fake news, a Chinese official saying there have been no talks. Rachel Scott is at the White House.
Get along very well.
Tonight, China pushing back hard on a claim President Trump has been making for days, that negotiations to end the trade war are well underway.
Are you talking to them actively now?
Actively. Everything's active.
But tonight, China calling that, quote, fake news. A top Chinese official saying, quote, as far as I know, China and the United States have not held consultations or negotiations on the tariff issue, let alone reached an agreement. Today, reporters pressing the president.
Can you clarify with whom the U.S. is speaking with China? They're saying it's fake news that trade talks are happening.
Well, they had a meeting this morning, so I can't tell you. It doesn't matter who they is. We may reveal it later, but they had meetings this morning.
He never did reveal that information. It comes with the president under increasing pressure to bring the trade war he started to a close. Major retailers like Target and Walmart have warned him shelves could go empty in a matter of weeks if he keeps in place his staggering 145% tariffs on goods from China. His own Treasury Secretary acknowledges the tariffs amount to an embargo. Already shipments from China starting to dry up. The number of cargo ships arriving from China into the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach next week will be down 29%. And as President Trump approaches 100 days in office, a new AP poll out tonight shows only 37% of Americans approve of how he's handling the economy, a key factor in his election victory. And the same number, just 37%, approve of how he's handling trade negotiations.
The White House says they have had successful meetings with other countries, including South Korea, but so far no deals have been announced, and it's still unclear if there are even negotiations with China, David.
Rachel Scott reporting from the White House tonight. Rachel, thank you. Now to the president's immigration efforts. Tonight, a second federal judge has now ordered the return of another migrant deported to El Salvador. Judge Stephanie Gallagher, a Trump appointee, ruling that the migrant named only as Christian, a 20-year-old from Venezuela, was deported despite being protected by a settlement agreement as an asylum seeker who came to the U.S. as an unaccompanied minor. As in the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the judge ordering the government to facilitate Christian's return. Tonight, two separate courts blocking the Trump administration's efforts to ban DEI, diversity efforts in public schools, in rulings just hours apart. The broader of the two rulings by a federal judge in Maryland finding that the withholding of federal funds from all K-12 schools that participate in diversity and equity initiatives was enacted unlawfully, violating the Administrative Procedure Act. The policy is now on hold nationwide. We turn now to the toxic scare killing dozens of dolphins, sea lions, and now whales have died as well. Environmental officials calling the shoreline an extreme danger zone along parts of California. ABC's Matt Gutman on the scene.
Tonight, those distressing scenes up and down the Southern California coastline. Hundreds of marine animals sickened and dying from a toxic algae bloom, stretching all the way from San Diego to San Luis Obispo. In just the past week, researchers say they've recovered more than 50 dead or dying dolphins in Los Angeles County.
It's the worst we've ever seen here in Southern California. It's unprecedented.
The bloom produces a neurological toxin called domoic acid, which scientists say can cause affected animals to become more aggressive and suffer from seizures and disorientation. Experts say sea lions and dolphins are especially vulnerable.
The fish are eating the small plankton that includes the algae, unfortunately, collecting that in their bodies, and then the sea lions and dolphins, and now we've also seen whales being affected.
David, algal blooms are natural occurrences, but scientists tell us that the debris from those devastating wildfires and fertilizer runoff after those atmospheric rivers this winter have exacerbated the problem, hitting marine animals especially hard. David.
All right, Matt Cuppen reporting from Southern California tonight. Matt, thank you. When we come back here, the sentence tonight after the deadly parade shooting on the 4th of July, what the judge said to the convicted murderer. Also later here, the NFL draft here at ABC. Who will be the #1 pick? We're there tonight. And then the chilling video tonight, police say it shows a teenage girl being followed by a stranger. Authorities say her quick thinking and what she said to other strangers that helped save her life. Tonight, the gunman convicted of a deadly mass shooting at a July 4th parade outside Chicago has been sentenced to 7 life sentences, one for each person he killed. Robert Cremo III pleaded guilty to the 2022 attack. Survivors giving emotional testimony at his sentencing, the judge saying he showed a, quote, complete disregard for human life. Police say a girl's quick thinking helped save her life and get away from potentially a dangerous stranger in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. The suspect seen on video allegedly following the girl, yelling inappropriate comments. She ran to a store owner, pointed to his wife, who she didn't know, but pretended she was her aunt, saying, "Is that my Aunt Rachel?" The couple taking her inside, locking the door. The suspect then arrested. The mother now thanking that couple for helping to save her daughter. When we come back here tonight, the popular new device crashing major websites, including Target and Walmart tonight. What's behind this? And then the NFL draft live here on ABC. The new stars taking the stage a short time from now. To the Index tonight, excited customers crashing multiple websites, signing up for pre-sale orders of the popular gaming device, the Nintendo Switch 2. Target, Best Buy, Walmart, and GameStop all overwhelmed by the demand. Nintendo had delayed orders in the U.S. after President Trump had revealed his tariffs. A lot of excitement about it today. When we come back tonight, night 1 of the NFL draft, live right here on ABC. A lot of speculation tonight. Who will be the #1 pick? Finally tonight here, night 1 of the NFL draft right here on ABC at ABC's Ike Kachachi in Green Bay tonight.
Tonight, all eyes on Green Bay, Wisconsin, hosting the NFL Draft for the first time. More than 250,000 visitors expected. And at Lambeau Field, watch out for former University of Miami quarterback Cam Ward.
How about Cam Ward and that arm talent?
Expected to be the #1 draft pick, going to the Tennessee Titans. Ward finishing his Division I career with the most total touchdowns in college history. Remarkable, given his improbable journey after receiving just one scholarship offer out of high school.
What I really want to do, and that was being a winning quarterback. And it's just also, you know, how I was raised to be confident in yourself. If you don't have confidence in yourself, nobody's going to be confident in you.
Next up, the Cleveland Browns. They're expected to select Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter, turning on the Jets.
Hunter making history at the University of Colorado by starting at both offensive and defensive positions, coached by NFL Hall of Famer Deion Sanders. And watch out for another Sanders tonight, Shedeur Sanders.
Shedeur Sanders, oh, what a move. Touchdown!
Deion Sanders' son also at the University of Colorado, his dad coaching him his whole life in preparation for this moment.
David, it's all about to happen just right behind me here. 32 players will have their names announced tonight. 257 names announced over the next 3 days. So many life-altering moments to celebrate, and we'll be here for every last one of them. David?
All right, Mike, thanks so much. The NFL Draft airs live on ABC beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you tomorrow night, live from the Vatican. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.